Marjorie Taylor Greene's going full scorched earth on the Epstein thing, and I am here for it. Welcome back to the Spin Cycle, guys. Go ahead and subscribe, like, follow, share with your friends. It's like the best thing you could do for me. But thanks again for watching. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's basically against everything I'm against. But she's all in for the Epstein files, and she is showing some integrity on this. She wants the Epstein files to come out. And even though she's like one of the biggest Donald Trump supporters there is, she is going full on, all out, not kowtowing, not giving in to the pressure from the White House to stop and take her name off the list of the 218 Congress people that want the Epstein files turned over and released. All the Epstein files, not the bullshit that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel have released so far. And the main reason they don't want to release the Epstein files is because Trump is in the Epstein files. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel told him that his name appears in the Epstein files several times. Also, there's terabytes worth of video somewhere, I'm sure it still exists, that I could say with 99% assurance that Trump is on those tapes. Do you actually live and breathe in today and the last 10 years of Donald Trump, or in my case where I grew up in New York, so he's been around my whole life, that he did not participate in this stuff with young girls at Epstein's place or on Epstein Island? By the way, somebody came up my comments and said there's no proof that Trump ever was on Epstein's plane. 8 times in the 80s, he was on the plane logs where he was on Epstein's plane. And Epstein's brother himself came out and said that Trump and Epstein were good friends and they rode on each other's planes all the time. 8 times isn't all the time, but maybe he had himself taken off the logs at some point. But anyway, just to remind you guys, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a bigot. Let's see. Here she is. You remember this ditty from her?
I gotta tell you, anybody's unemployment has to do with bad choices and personal responsibility. And again, that does not have a skin color. I know a ton of white people that are as lazy and sorry and probably worse than black people I know.
What do you mean by that?
So yes, that was Marjorie Taylor Greene. She actually said that. Now, maybe it was a Freudian slip or whatever, but she did say that. So this is who we're dealing with, but I got to give it to her. Like I said on the Epstein thing, she's coming through. But now here's Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Epstein files, and she is holding her ground. She is holding her ground and standing up for the women, the victims of the rich and powerful billionaires. Like I always say, guys, on this channel, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she inherited money from her parents, a business and all that, I think a construction company. So she's not exactly, but she's from rural Georgia, she's more like us than like the billionaires. And it's the billionaires against the rest of us. I'm sure you guys saw in the news, this TikTok is now being taken over by Larry Ellison. And the whole reason they want to take over TikTok, or the government wanted TikTok to be sold to American companies so they can't be influenced by Chinese propaganda. But Larry Ellison and the Murdoch family, if you don't know who the Murdoch family is, they own Fox 5 and the Wall Street Journal. So now TikTok is being taken over by like the right-wing cabal of billionaires that own a big percentage of the mainstream news you get. And Trump is right, that is fake news. Fox News, Wall Street Journal, it's all fake news. So, Larry Ellison is not a good guy. No billionaire is a good guy. You don't become a billionaire by being a good guy. And Larry Ellison is all in with Trump. So it's going to be, they get to control the algorithm of TikTok now. So it's going to be the right-wing Republican TikTok. If you're gonna say stuff on TikTok that they don't like, that's far left or whatever, they're gonna erase you. So it's not gonna be a free platform anymore.
Come on, you don't want me to bomb you like I did Iraq.
I thought you just bombed Iran.
Iraq, what the hell's the difference? Relax, guy.
And so this is a special provision in the Constitution for Congress people. Here, let's take a look at it here. The move would escalate congressional efforts to increase transparency around Jeffrey Epstein crimes, his co-conspirators, and the government's investigation into them, which has turned some Republicans and President Trump's base against his administration. Green said at a press conference that if asked, she would make accusations on behalf of accusers of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. If they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women, she said. I can do that for them and I'd be proud to do it. It's a scary thing to name names, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to name names. So let's not be ignorant here. Marjorie Taylor Greene sees where the political winds are going, that, you know, it's like, what, 80% of Americans, Republicans, independents, progressives, liberals, Democrats, whatever you want to call them, they all, 80% of everybody wants the Epstein files released. Green also called for more transparency into the investigation, using Congress to vote on releasing the full files. Now, this is the rule she can do it under without any penalties. The speech and debate clause that protects Green. Members of Congress are protected by the Constitution's speech and debate clause, which shields them from criminal and civil penalties for comments made in speeches on the Senate and House floors. That means Green could make allegations without legal consequences, such as a defamation lawsuit. Josh Chavitz, a professor at Georgetown University specializing in the Constitution law, told Axios that it's completely viable to use her speech or debate clause protection in this way. She cannot be civilly sued or criminally prosecuted for anything she says on the floor, Chavitz said. She could be punished by the House itself, but that would require a majority vote to punish her, or if they were seeking to expel her, a 2/3 vote. You know, and the Democrats would not do that because she's on their side on this one. The speech or debate clause has been used a number of times in the past to make information public. Several of those uses have involved disclosure of classified information that the member thought the public would not know. So there you have it. And she also said this.
Can you imagine how terrifying it would be to name names like that? These are some of the richest, most powerful people in the world that could sue these women into poverty and homelessness. Yeah, it's a scary thing to name names, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women. I can do that for them, and I'd be proud to do it.
So what do you think of that, guys? Marjorie Taylor Greene is going scorched earth on the Epstein files, and I'm here for it. I don't agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on almost anything. You could see she's kind of a racist by some of her comments in the past. She's from rural northern Georgia, where I've spent a lot of time, and you know, there's a lot of people like her there. That's why she wins. But she deserves credit where credit is due. She's on this Epstein file thing, and she's not backing down, no matter how much President Trump and Mike Johnson put pressure on her. She is not backing down. Unlike some other people in Congress, there's a lot of people who want the Epstein files released, especially on the GOP, but they won't go against Trump because they're scared. I mean, let's face it, most of Congress is, most of the time, they're just trying to keep their jobs and those fat $200,000 a year paychecks, and that's just a small portion. They get, insider information on trading stocks. They also get huge donations from like AIPAC. If you watched my last video, I'll pin it here. Some congressmen get millions of dollars from AIPAC, and at the very least, they get thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why they won't vote against not sending bombs to AIPAC to kill children. Not sending bombs to Israel, to kill children. So guys, go ahead and comment what you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know a lot of people who watch my channel won't like her, but there's definitely a lot of MAGAs who watch my channel that probably do like her. but I think we could all agree she's doing the right thing here. Also, guys, go ahead and subscribe so you can see my next video upcoming, which is going to be about Mike Johnson and his Grindr profile. And you know, there's guys on Grindr who claim, and they have evidence too, that they've spoken to Mike Johnson on Grindr. And you know, while they were in DC, and Johnson offered to show him the town and come to their hotel and give him a blowjob. And this is the right-wing Christian guy who, you know, family, Christian, holier than thou. And as all you guys know, the GOP has more closet homosexuals. Not that there's anything wrong with that. As Seinfeld used to say, I don't have anything against homosexuals. I mean, that's fine with me. To each his own, basically. You do what you want to do. But, you know, to be so hypocritical, and, you know, his whole persona is this right-wing Christian family guy. Him and his teenage son, they have a pact where they, you know, a non-porn watching pact. But who knew the porn he was watching was gay porn, right? Anyway, go ahead and subscribe, like. Thanks again. See you next time.